What's up guys, welcome back to another video of rebuilding my crashed Legacy GT. The last thing I filmed, I believe, was we put on the body of the car, so like the fenders, hood, bumper and all that. And we had some gnarly gap between the hood and the fender. Well, yesterday I just spent some time, probably like an hour or so, and it's looking pretty good. Let me show you. So before, what we had was a pretty good fender line right there. It was pretty solid, but over here this side was pretty bad. I think I was able to put my finger in it, but as you can see, it's pretty good now. It lines up to like the line here and here in the headlight. I don't know if that's supposed to be like factory marks or, you know, like a marking to know where it's supposed to line up, but it's pretty good. Over here, pretty much the same thing. Maybe it's a little tighter. But yeah, no, I'm happy with that. Honestly, I think the fender gaps are pretty good. This is actually even better than my STI fender gap. It's very sus. So I don't have welding gas yet, so I'm not going to tack in the radiator right now. But what I do have, and something I actually have to fix, it's kind of funny, is my work. I asked them if they could powder coat those brackets. I think I mentioned it in the last video. And well, they have a sandblaster and it's one of those cabinets, and I was trying to use it and it was just clogging up. Personally, I think it just isn't being maintained properly, so that's why. So I asked them to do the more industrial sandblaster, which they use on the product that we sell. And remember the alternator cover? Yeah, it's pretty heavy duty. I didn't realize they would have just kept going after seeing it warp like that. I thought they would have stopped, but that's okay. I had a bunch of parts in here stripped, and unfortunately even like this bracket I think is warped, and this basically goes on the alternator. I'll straighten it up a little bit, but I'm gonna powder coat it and hopefully it comes out minty fresh. I was thinking about doing black and then doing like a wrinkle black just to clean it up. We'll see if I can straighten it. And then there's just a bunch of other little brackets I had them do. So I'm just gonna go through these and just make sure everything is straight, like this. Yeah, you could just see all the pitting from the rust. But you can see it's a little bent up. So I'm just gonna go through, clean it up, and get it ready so then tomorrow they can powder coat it. Well, I quickly gave up trying to record all that, and pretty much anything that was a little out of whack, I got it fairly straight. Now, I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but it's good enough considering you're never gonna see this, and later on I may just replace this part just because it's so pitted with rust. Like, come on, there's not really much saving there. So I was doing pretty well getting this back to its original shape. I was like just there. I was getting really close, and then I was bending it, trying to get that angle, and like it was coming out smooth, and now it's kind of warped because I just gave up on it. And then I ended up just breaking the logo. Not sure if you can see that, but snapped it. I guess I just put too much force on it trying to bend it. So I'm gonna call this done. I really don't feel like continuing to screw around with this. The only other option I could do is like maybe cut out the logo and then just run a alternator cover with a hole in it. I'm pretty disappointed because I had this really smooth, and then the sandblaster they had just mutilated it and took it out. So I'm kind of over it. It was free anyways. It just sucks because I really wanted to save it. And actually, a part that I'm getting powder coated is this right here, and that is the mount for the AC compressor. And I was curious, I was like, the AC compressor on the STI, like, are they the same? And they look, based off of Google, they look very alike. I would check my STI, but the cover is frozen to the ground, so I can't remove it. But the reason why I'm curious about that is I have another bracket right there. You can barely see it. And I did the air pump delete mod on my car, so I no longer have the air pump here. It's a giant empty hole. There's a couple of mounting locations that would be like around here on my STI that I was planning on shaving and then getting powder coated, but if I can get that removed and it bolts up to my STI, I'm definitely going to clean that up, get it powder coated, and put on the STI. We won't know for sure though till later. And honestly, like, not even like trying to hype myself up, like I'm extremely proud with how straight everything is coming out. I was very proud of the alternator cover, and that got written off, so that sucks, but oh well. Now, I got my parts powder coated, so everything, honestly, it's not too bad. overall, I mean, like the parts that were like a lot of patinas, you could see, just really did not come out that great. But I wasn't expecting anything crazy from it, to be honest. This one turned out pretty good. This is for the alternator, like the tensioner, I guess you would call it. So right there. So this will indeed replace that, which will look pretty good. I think what I want to do is I want to just kind of assemble these back together and just kind of get through it, and then potentially maybe like swap out my AC compressor and stuff like that. So like this will go like so. Looks pretty good. I think that's what I want to do. Well, I think it's safe to say I definitely put some lipstick on a pig when it comes to the engine bay. It is nice. It's really nice seeing everything nice and black powder coated. You know, all down here. It's looking pretty good. Even this bracket looks like brand new pretty much. Also these, I broke that one earlier. I don't know if I broke this one or if it was already broken, but there's a little punch tab in there. So I'll have to source some new ones there. Probably just get at the scrapyard. And that bracket down there looks pretty good. Powder coated, must say. Man. Oh, I decided to give myself some work. Let me explain. I haven't done any welding the last couple of days. Just let me catch my breath. Okay, believe it or not, that's heavy. Believe it or not, I have been busy. It may not look like it, like I haven't done anything. And yeah, you're kind of right. I really haven't done anything for progress-wise for finishing, rebuilding this car. But I have been doing stuff. And one of the things is the seats. So this is the passenger side black leather seat that I've been wanting to put into the Legacy. This is my old passenger seat that came out of the Legacy. Overall, they're in good condition. It's just their cloth. A little bit of butt juice, you know, but nothing you can't wash out. And you probably can't tell at all right here that I've done anything, but I actually replaced this cowl. I replaced the wiper arms and the wiper linkage motor for the wipers, as well as plastic trim. I replaced any clips that were missing, cleaned out all inside of here. So any gunk buildup, I've cleaned that out. I don't know if I showed this yet. I removed the trim here. Basically, the reason is it's been touched up and it's just not looking too hot. And the one on that car, it's a lot better shape. It's basically like new, maybe like one little scuff. Inside the car, you know, it's missing a seat, but I got the one driver's seat in and it's working flawlessly as it should. And I've just been going through, just changing trim. I even changed the armrest here to this one, just because mine was busted. Even this one's not perfect. There is a little damage right there, but I can live with that because mine actually was like incaved, like something heavy was put on it. I feel like this is a common issue with these cars, and it has to do with this like clasp here. Mine never will hold. And I took it apart and I thought maybe there was a spring missing or something, but the parts card is the same thing. And it's just a piece of plastic that's supposed to kind of get forced down, but I guess over the years it's been forced up so much that it doesn't want to go back down. So I think later on I'm going to pull out the 3D printer and see if I can make a fix for this. What's been holding me up recently is these harnesses right here. Yeah, I gotta vacuum up the carpet. Don't worry, I'll do it before I put the seat back. But the harnesses are here. This is mine. I have an 06, and there's only 3 plugs. And then there's the 8-pin over there that was tucked away underneath. I don't know what that 8-pin's for. I figured it was for like a subwoofer or something, but I don't know. And it seems like no one on the forums really knows. what's been holding me up is basically the connectors are not going to work for the black seat that I have right here. This one had like 5 connectors hooked up to it. I figured it was just an extra connector or 2 for like the motors. The one in my car, the 2006, there's only like 3 connectors, which I showed you guys. Something's going on. I don't know. Apparently 05 was kind of like the oddball of like the legacy years when it came to these harnesses. And for whatever reason, like it just looks like it's going to be a nightmare to make the factory electrical like motors work on the seat. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to unbolt the top and then unbolt the top of mine and then just switch the bottom sections. So I end up getting the black leather, but I end up still just having like the manual levered thing. So sorry, Don, you're not going to get the fancy motor, but you got a seat that works. It's better than nothing, right? So what I'm going to do is just start tearing the seats apart. I'm not going to really show it. I'm just going to kind of do it. This is not a how-to video of how to tear apart seats, so let me just get it done. I've lost count of how many hours I've been at this, and I can say with 100% certainty it was a complete waste of time. They're completely taken apart. It has to all go back together because this is not gonna work. So we got the 2 bottom frames. It's completely torn. Trim over there. All the seats torn apart. The backing there, backing there. I was even at the point where I was gonna cut the tubing where the welds are and then switch the tubing, because actually the difference between the seats, there's about 1.5 inches or inch, yeah, about 1.5 inches height difference here compared to that one. Probably can't see it on camera, but just take my word for it. Honestly, you can't do it. There's no way to make it work. And I've tried and tried and tried, and this is like the last straw. You can't do it. So I'm going to spend the next couple of hours putting this back together. Yay. Well, a few hours later in some beauty sleep, it is the next day. I have some updates. Good updates. We finally have gas. Believe it or not, I finally got myself some gas. So it's an argon CO2 mix. Tucked away in there, all set up, ready to go. And actually, it like just clears the top of the workbench. It's like I knew what I was doing or something. Not fluke whatsoever. I have both chairs assembled again. This is obviously the leather one with all the crazy spaghetti going on. I got the other one put back together. So this one was what I had before. This is going to go back in the car really quick. I just gave the car a quick vacuum, so at least I got that done. Looks like there's sludge on the side there. I feel like there's hope to make these seats work, believe it or not. I think I found a way to make this work. So it's going to involve making my own little like harness, and that's not really too hard to do. I stole this from the parts car, so there's that portion of it, but I need the portion from the seat. So obviously I don't want to tear apart my seat right now because I kind of need that. So the plan is I'm going to go to the scrapyard, get some connections. We'll come back, and on a later date, I will go ahead and try to make this work. If you want to see that, let me know and I'll happily record it. If not, just completely ignore it. This video is going to try to weld up the whole front end and like get everything done and whatnot, but there's just so much I've been doing that it's just going to be like a really long video, and as is, I feel like it's kind of long. So what this video is now going to be is I just want to put any parts in this car that I want on the car before I pull it out of the garage. So obviously the seat, that has to go in. I'm going to do that right now. I want to get the rear seat in. I still have the top part from my old seat, and I have the bottom cushion out just chilling on the trunk. So those can go in. I think the last thing I'm going to do is the rear bumper. So my rear bumper is honestly not too bad, but it is a little dinged up. In the next video, I will just focus on basically welding up the front end, getting that all done, and probably the final assembly of this car. Because honestly, winter's coming to an end very quickly, and this is supposed to be my winter car, and I miss driving it. I'll straight up, I miss driving it. Let's just get this car together. I'm tired of seeing it in pieces. I'm tired of crawling around pieces. I just want this car back together, like the door card. There's no reason to not have it on. So, no scrap. Oh yeah, easy. It's good to go. Ta-da! And for the back, there you go. Alright guys, I am back, and this is probably going to be the last bit of this video. I really didn't know what to do with this video, it kind of just was random. But I have the chair all back together. I do have a bunch of connections for the harness that I'm going to hopefully try to make later on. I went to the scrapyard, so got some goodies that will be coming up in a future video. The rear is all buttoned up, door cord's backed on. I cleaned everything, gave it a nice sweep. Replaced the center console armrest again with a cleaner one that I found at the scrapyard. Front is pretty much the same. I ended up at the scrapyard, found one of these, but for the passenger side, so that one's even cleaner and like perfect, no cracks, nothing, so that is great. I was talking about putting this engine cover on this car just for the time being and kind of just chopping the top here, but honestly, after putting it on, I really don't like it. Like, I just don't. I think what I'll do later on is potentially try looking into this alternator cover again and just cutting out the downwind logo, because I did muck it up, filling it in and maybe just painting it like wrinkled black or something. That's gonna be a later video. I think I'm gonna call this one it. I've pretty much swapped all the parts that I want to swap on it, besides the trim for the door here. I've been really tedious with this car. Anything that has been missing or damaged, I replaced. So like the mud flaps, I put them in fully, cleaned it all out, put all new clips on there that is gonna hold on and not flop around and fall off like it has been. We got the bumper swapped, and the plastic trim that goes underneath to help mount it, that was missing a bunch of clips, so I replaced those. Honestly, just getting dialed in. Like, the car it's pretty good, I have to say. Yes, I did wreck it, but it's coming out better than what it was before I wrecked it, which was kind of like the goal. Leave it better than how you found it, right? So I think I'm gonna call this a video, and I will see you guys on the next one. And that will be pretty much welding in the rad support and probably the final assembly, and this car will be back up on the road. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and take it easy.